All right, how's it going today, everyone? Happy Sunday. It is February 6th, and today I'm just going to go over just a brief market analysis. So I'll be going over a handful of things here, but let's start with Bitcoin because it's running hot right now. Oh, buddy. Okay, so let me pull up the daily here. So a couple weeks ago, I wanted to point this out. I pointed this out. We had a little bit of divergence here on the MACD. MACD was making a higher low compared to here, while price was making a lower low. So I was starting to lean a little bullish. In fact, I actually kind of leaned a little bullish here because we were hitting that trend line and we were getting that MACD divergence. And price broke below this trend line. Things were looking pretty dismal. Bitcoin had a big drop after a day they closed below that trend line. You see down 10.41% on the day. Pretty ugly. And I was really looking for a test the bottom of this channel at least. And I know a lot of people were calling for, 20K and, crazy bearish numbers like that. I wasn't ready to get that bearish, but I must admit I was getting pretty bearish here. And we never even touched this support zone, and we never even got to the bottom of this channel. So, obviously buyers were front running this and just bought this right back up to this previous support, now resistance zone. And then we kind of peaked above this bearish channel here, and we're looking like we were gonna, break out of it, similar to how we did here, but then we had that fake out and then break down. And then we looked like we were gonna get that same thing, and I'm sure a lot of people were trying to short right here after we got this close below here at 36,900. But the next day, buyers scooped it up, and then on Friday, at the end of the day, we just had this huge rally. 11.41%. That's the biggest rally we've had since February of 2021. So, here we are in February again, and we're getting, this looked like this is probably a short squeeze because, again, like I said, people were probably trying to short here because we were breaking down into this bearish channel again, and then price just surged right up to this resistance area. And it looked like we were maybe going to bump our heads here, and as of right now, futures opened and price is still pushing upwards a little bit here. So we'll see where that goes. If we can reclaim this trend line here and get above 44,000, that is very bullish. So, I'm long right now, Bitcoin futures. I'm obviously still holding spot Bitcoin itself and Ethereum. So, I'm going to be happy either way. But, I will alert longs if we can reclaim these areas here. So, you can follow me now if you want. It does kind of feel like chasing here because I wouldn't be surprised just the way things have been if this is a fake out and we just come up to this trend line here and get rejected. But you can see 42,300. Wow. Okay. So we'll see how the rest of the night plays out. But, Bitcoin is one of the most, risky assets. So if there's money flowing into high risk assets, what do you think is going to happen to, small caps, the NASDAQ, ES, right? So, you tell me. Ethereum trading above 3,000 as of right now. Here's some of the other bullcrap altcoins that I follow. But let's get to the NASDAQ here. So, we had the breakdown at the beginning of January, and we've just been trading below this trend line for the longest time. And I'm going to get rid of this MACD, get on my face. Okay. So on the 1st of February, towards the end of January, we had a nice little rally off of this, 13,900 area, dipped below, got as low as 13,700, and that was met with strong buyers. And then we kind of chopped between this zone right in here, between 13,900 and 14,400, until Friday we broke above that, and Monday had a nice hot day, ran right up into that trend line, and then the next day broke above it, and then again got some follow through, but then we kind of sold off on Thursday, big time. In fact, that was 4% down, right? And that was after Facebook's earnings, when Facebook dropped, I think it was 21%. So that really put a damper on the parade. We gapped up here. That was from Google's earnings. And then Amazon pushed us right back up again, and we reclaimed this trend line. And so far, we're still staying above this trend line. If we can get back above 14,750, things will start to look a little bit more bullish. Right now, I am definitely leaning a little bit more on the bull side, just from a number of different factors. Bitcoin's price action right now is definitely leading me to a little bit more bullish bias on the NASDAQ. Seasonality charts, just the oversold ratings, overall market sentiment. So if we can get above 14,750, I think we're going to run back up to this 15K area. And honestly, I'm really looking for this zone up here in the 15,500 area. Let's pull up So I'm actually looking for the 4-hour 200 SMA to get tagged, which is at 15,459 right now. So we'll see how the beginning of this week plays out. Obviously, if we drop back below this 14,400 area, that's not good. And I will definitely change my bullish thesis and probably look for a test of 13,900. So I may flip short if we break 14,400. But again, if we reclaim this 14,750 area, I'm definitely looking for this 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart to be tagged. So with the ES, my God, this is a messy chart. Okay, let's get, how do we get rid of this? Object tree. Let's get rid of some of the volume profiles, because those kind of jam up the screen a little bit. I have some Fibonacci's crowding the screen here. Okay, so obviously ES kind of similar price action or pattern to the NASDAQ. That past Monday, the big sell-off down to 42,112, and then was bought back up, and then we traded sideways in this tight range here, and then that Friday we ran up, broke this trend. So we actually broke the trend line on ES, well, the more steep trend line on that Friday, right? And then we ran up for 4 straight days until the second, this past Wednesday, and then just barely hit the top of this bearish channel. I was actually ready to short at like 45.90, 4600. We literally stopped 4 points shy of that, but that's okay. And we ran down 2.36%. Same thing. Facebook took us down that day, and then we came down, tagged this 200-day moving average, and then bounced right back up. And then right now we're at 44.95. So I still, again, just with the NASDAQ, I am leaning a little bit more bullish on ES. So, I'm looking for at least 44.50 to get tagged, basically the top of this channel here. And if we can break out of that, I'm looking for 4,600 to even, the bottom of this trend line, this major trend line that we broke down from, okay? Also, let me pull out the 50 period moving average on the weekly. Okay, so you can see here we dipped below the 50 period moving average on the weekly. That's this yellow line right here, and then dipped back, or reclaimed it and closed above it. And then this past week, definitively closed above it. And you see on the weekly, higher high, higher low, right? On this channel kind of looks a little funky on the weekly chart, but here we are. So again, level wise with the ES, I'm leaning slightly more bullish for a test of at least 45.50. Okay, as long as we can stay above this 44.40 area, even 4,400. But if we dip back below that, then, we might test this 4,300 area, or even the recent lows in the low 4,200s. So, just keep an eye on those levels. Above 4440 or even 4400, I'm still looking for dips to be bought up to 4550 and even as high as 4600, especially if we can break out of this bearish channel, because that is really the major trend line here. Here's the peak here, and then here's the other peak here, right? So this is the major trend line here. So if we can reclaim that on a daily closing basis, I think it's possible we test at least this trend line here on the underside, maybe even 4,700. But, I would start to be cautious in that 4,600 to 4,700 area for sure, right? I'll probably put some hedges on in that 4,550 to 4,600 area, and even add to some in the 4,600 to 4,700 area. All right, real quick, let's take a look at the Russell. Russell has been just absolutely put through the ringer, kind of trading in this little bearish channel here. You can see there's a red trend line here that I started here. Multiple times, price reacted that here, and then we looked like we were closing above it, and then we traded up to the 200 period moving average, chopped around for a little bit, and then big breakdown here, 3.35% down, and have been trading lower since. And we hit a low at 1900, right? And we finally found support there, which again is right around this trend line here. So price really has been reacting this trend line a lot. But we found support there and ran up to over 2,000, and then have since traded back below it. And now we're at 1996, yeah. So looking for basically a break above this 2030, 2040 area. And if we can clear that, I'm looking for a test of 2100 to 2120, even as high as 2140, okay? And then, if that happens, then we're breaking out of this bearish pattern, and I think dips should be bought at that point. But, obviously this is the market. 2022 is definitely a different beast. We've been getting lots of whipsaws, fake outs. So, just be careful, plot your levels. You want to get in and out pretty quickly, because it's been very difficult to swing anything for more than a couple of days in this market. So just, size your positions accordingly. I'm talking really small, 1 to 2% of your account. And just play the levels, right? But I think things will start to look a little bit better if we can break out of this channel, right? Because I find that the Russell is kind of one of those market leading indicators. Let's look at the Dow real quick. The Dow was looking like it was going to break this trend line here, right? Tagged here, and then we've been trading below it for the longest time, up until we had all that bullish action last week before, Thursday, right? So here was Wednesday, and then Thursday, same as everything else, sold off. Dow was one of the things that sold off the least. It was down 1.47%, whereas the NASDAQ was down over 4%, right? And if you notice, on the daily, we came down to test the 200 period moving average, dipped below it on Friday, but reclaimed it and closed above it. Right now, we're floating around 34,966. So, I don't have any position in the Dow right now, but if you wanted to trade the Dow, I would look for a break, above this black trend line right here, this sloping trend line right here. But I would look for a break above 35,492. If that breaks, we can run up to 36,300 pretty easily and test the bottom of this trend line, which is a major trend line. I guess that's the only two things that we tagged here. But this is a pretty significant trend line right here, right? So if we can reclaim 35,492, we should run up to test the bottom of this trend line that we broke down from here in this 36,300 area, okay? Let's take a look at the VIX real quick. So you see we ran up on the 24th, from here to the 24th of January, and hit a high of 33 on the VX, on the VX VIX futures. And then we've been really making lower highs for a few sessions, except for for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions, and then on that Thursday after Facebook tanked on everyone, we went up 16.82% on the VIX, and it caused a lot of problems, but we kind of cooled off quite a bit on Friday. One thing to note, yes, we did make a higher low and a higher high here, but with ES pulling back like it did, VIX did not get that follow through like you'd expect, right? Like VIX kind of closed below this 25 level, which to me is not very bearish for the indices in my opinion, right? Honestly, what I would be looking for is a break above. Sorry, this is okay. Yeah, this is Friday's candle. Yeah. So really, what I'm watching for is a break above 26. Right? VIX breaks above 26, then you want to start being really cautious. Okay. And I'm probably going to look to add hedges or go short if 26 breaks. Right. But if we can get back below, say, 23, if we can get back below 23 or even 22.7, very bullish for the indices. I will expect those targets on NQ at 15,400 area and that 4550 to 4600 area on ES to get tagged if we can get that break below 22.7 or even 23, right? So right now we're just kind of sitting at that 24.2 mark. So I'll be keeping an eye on that for sure. Gold. What what a whipsaw. What a rope-a-dope. I mean, what can I say about gold? It's just been tropping around, really respecting this trend line all year long, from basically from the 31st of August of 2020 until now, right? Just can't get above it. Just cannot do it. There's been a couple of times where I thought maybe it would, but no dice. So, until gold really makes a definitive move, either below this trend line or above this trend line, I'm just going to be watching, right? I mean, overall, I'm leaning slightly bullish for 2022 on gold, just based on seasonality and cyclical market patterns. I really am leaning towards gold eventually going to break above this trend line at some point, and we will probably see this 1900 area get tagged, or even 2000 this year. But until this trend line breaks, I am just watching on the sidelines. So, and I suggest you all do the same, unless you're scalping 10 points or whatever. But even then, I'm not too crazy about it. Let's take a look at oil. Oil is ultra hot right now. Let's pull up the MACD again. Okay, so just absolutely running super hot, and I'm sure people are still really bullish and are looking to add, to the next, the current hot thing right now. But we're up 47.47% since the end of November, right? And if you notice, every time price touches this trend line here, and here, we get a rejection from it, right? So we're hitting that trend line here again, and we're also getting a tag of the 1272 Fibonacci extension, right? So, quite a bit of resistance here. Also, one thing to note here on the MACD. There we are here. So we're making lower highs on the MACD here, right? We're making lower highs while price is making higher highs, right? So we're building some divergence here on the MACD, right? So, I definitely wouldn't take a long here on crude, right? In fact, I'm actually looking to possibly short crude via micro E-mini futures on Thinkorswim. It's ticker /MCL. If you don't trade futures, you can look at XOM. We actually had some put flow come in on Friday. So, if we get this divergence to play out and we get the rejection from this 1272 extension and this trend line, I think those are going to pay. And I think what I'm looking for is a test of this 84, 85 area where it broke out from, right? So we're looking at about 7 points down on CL, right? Which if you're trading, the big boy futures, that's about $7,000, or 700 if you're trading the micros, right? Which I'll be scaling into those here. A break above 94, 95, even 96 area kind of negates that, and we'll probably run up to 100 to 105 area, right? So we'll just kind of have to see how today plays out, but that's kind of what I'm doing, and that's what I'm looking at. We can take a look real quick at the yields. Yields are running hot. 10-year yields, has been putting pressure on tech. But we're right in this resistance area right here. In fact, let's look at TNX. That's what I want to look at. Okay. So we're right here in this resistance zone right here on TNX. Hit highs on Thursday or Friday of this week. So we might get some rejection here, and if this cools off, that's going to help push tech up even further. So keep your eyes on TNX as well. Let's look at the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. So you see this level right here. We've respected so many times. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we got that dip down and tested that level and bounced pretty hard. Right, let's pull up the daily. Okay. Bounced. What was that? That was the past Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday ran up and perfectly rejected off of this price level I had here, and then pulled back to, guess what, the 200 period moving average, and then Friday kind of put in this little doji here, dipped below the 200 period moving average and managed to close above it. So to me, that's a good sign. Let's pull out the fib right here. Oh, come on. Get out of my face. Let's get this MACD out of my face. Okay, run up here. Okay, so we retraced to 382 and then bounced and closed above the 200 period moving average, right? I mean, not too bearish there, right? I mean, other than this big bearish bar here. So you have to watch out for that. So basically what I'm looking for is this low on Friday to be broken. If that happens, then time to start being cautious. But like I said, leaning slightly more on the bull side. Let's see where Bitcoin's at. 42,341. Not bad. Okay. So to me, honestly, like the main thing I'm watching right now is Bitcoin. Like I said, if these risky assets, money's flowing into them, what do you think is going to happen with the rest of the stuff? Things will start trickling in, right? So, that's just kind of my opinion. You guys take it or leave it. But that's what I'm doing. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, I'll be posting a link in the description. You guys can head on over, ask any trading-related questions that you might have. We'll help you out as much as we can. We've managed to do pretty well in this choppy environment. Members have been, staying afloat. It's very difficult to trade in this environment, and we do the best we can to, to keep everyone green. So, if you want to learn from us, or you want our daily market analysis and our daily market commentary, and you want to follow some of the trades that we're doing, I suggest you come on over. We're running a special right now. The first month is completely free. So come on over, check it out, and until next time, have a good day.